Hey folks, Dave here, your immersion tour guide, and today I'm going to give you guys a handful of reasons why it would be very okay to get on board the Kingdom Come Deliverance hype train. This is a game that I have been closely following since its first announcement during its Kickstarter campaign. I've gotten to interview the devs multiple times, and to be honest, I am beyond excited for the game. Kingdom Come Deliverance's improvements over the years are just incredible. And I think there are very legitimate reasons to be excited for the launch, which is coming up on the 13th. So without further ado, here is the first reason that you should get excited for Kingdom Come. And that is the passion that the developers have for their game. I know this might be a cliche or sound like a cliche, but I'm definitely of the opinion that you can really tell when a development studio is really invested in the game that they're making. And you can tell when it's a passion project, and for these guys, I think it could be nothing else. What started as a relatively small Kickstarter project, which got a good amount of funding, but nothing extreme for a RPG game at all, has become a massive project. They also did the right thing, and pushed the release date of the game back in order to focus on things like redoing the facial animation and motion capture, and redoing a massive amount of the voice acting in the game. It's never an easy thing to disappoint your fans, and especially your backers, by pushing a release date back, and in the case of Kingdom Come Deliverance, also not releasing updates for the beta version on Steam because they wanted to focus on the final version of the game. Definitely not easy decisions to make, but from what I've seen from the most recent trailers, these were all very good decisions. The improvements, again, are looking very, very good. Beyond the improvements that we can see in the game footage though, guys, having again talked to the developers quite a few times, including multiple meetings at E3 last year, their excitement for their own game is hilarious and it's contagious. These guys will talk over each other, wanting to tell you about their favorite parts of the game, just grinning the whole time. You can really tell how much that they really do love working on this game, and how much probably blood, sweat, and tears has gone into it. So that's my first reason why you should get hyped, is because they're hyped, and that's always a good thing. There's no awkward stage presentations, or conferences, or awkward teleprompter readings. There's just pure excitement. On to reason number 2 to get excited. This is a CryEngine game, and like most CryEngine games, it looks amazing. However, this isn't a single-player narrative CryEngine game. This is an open-world RPG CryEngine game. And it already has, in that outdated beta version on Steam, some of the most incredible looking landscapes that I've seen in a CryEngine game in a very, very long time. Also, it has some of the largest landscapes I've ever seen in a CryEngine game. The final version of Kingdom Come Deliverance is going to have 16 square kilometers of towns and castles and forests and riverbeds and streams, all open for exploring. And if you guys are like me and you treat an RPG game like a completely immersive experience where you want to get on horseback and slow walk down the road and just take it all in, this game, powered by CryEngine with some absolutely fantastic environment art from the devs, is going to satisfy all of your immersive needs. On to reason number 3. This game is going to have a wild amount of customization, as you would hope for in a true role-playing game. Even though you're going to be playing as the simple son of a blacksmith, you're going to be able to customize your gameplay style and take on roles like warrior, bard, thief, or variations on those archetypes. This won't be done in the kind of Bethesda way where you pick out the skills you want at the start of the game. Instead, your abilities will grow and become stronger or weaker depending on what you focus on. This opens up a lot of different alternate paths for the game. It adds a lot of replayability as long as it works well, but it also makes things dynamic in a very nice and subtle way. There's going to be a under the hood reputation system where you might not see the consequences of your actions in true RPG style until later on in the game. Again, the devs are saying this is going to happen in a natural way, and if that's the case, this game is going to be a very natural feeling RPG, where you just do what feels right for your character and the world reacts to your actions. Reason to get excited number 4 that I have for you guys is a bit of a tricky one, because while I think it's a reason to get excited, it could end up backfiring if this does not work out. I'm talking, of course, about the combat system in Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's going to be very different from what we've seen for medieval-style RPG games and their combat systems before this. It's going to be slowed down and more grounded with very realistic, period-correct sword fighting techniques. In combat, you have a 5-sided cursor, and you have to keep your weapon, if you're wanting to block, at the correct location on that star cursor. So you have to watch your enemy's hands and movements and make sure that your weapon is ready for that block and is positioned in the right way in your hands. And you line up your block by using that star. So combat, especially in groups, is going to be really, really intense. You've got to lock onto a target, focus on it, block, attack, and again, stay focused if you want to survive the fight. And in fact, the devs have said that a lot of times combat is going to be very, very rough, and you might want to just avoid it when you can, or carefully plan out your attacks so you can take out enemies one by one. Additionally, weapons are going to use a physics system where the actual impact of weapons and the force behind them is calculated for how much damage you do. Different shapes and sizes of weapons will actually be used in their correct, realistic ways. So a short sword would be great for quick strikes, quick blocks, and quick jabs, but will be useless against heavy armor. You'll have to change tactics if you want to fight a heavily armored knight, for example. There will be some additional moves you can unlock, but overall this system sounds like something very new and very different, and I personally am excited for it. The version in beta was clunky, but that was a lot due to the frame rate, I think. What I've played in more recent builds of the game, at E3 for example, felt better, if still rough around the edges. So I'm going to label this as a reason to get excited, because it is just so different, and I really like the concept and what I've seen of it so far. So although it's risky, because combat is a good chunk of the game, I think this system has a lot of potential, and I'm excited for it. Not everything rests on the combat though. Let's talk next about a reason to get excited about the branching quest system and how much work the devs have done to create a truly open-ended quest system. The quests in the game, including the side quests, have branching options where you can choose diplomacy if you don't want to fight, like we just talked about, or you could try getting drunk and seeing if that increases your chances of persuading someone. There's also options for sneaking, so you can be a classic RPG stab-in-the-back bandit, and sometimes just by sneaking around and observing what's going on around you without people realizing that you're there, you can learn information or find a secret that will open up new options for the quest that you're on, and things might not be like they seem. Now, of course, branching quest options are something that you've come to expect from a good RPG. And I'm not saying that this is something super unusual, but what I am saying is the quality of what we've seen so far for the branching quest options in Kingdom Come Deliverance are just really impressive. That was a huge strong point for The Witcher 3, and it's amazing to see these guys with a young studio and a brand new IP coming out with what appears to be a very deep RPG quest system. That's just pretty awesome. My last reason for you guys to get excited for Kingdom Come Deliverance goes out to you fellow history nerds out there. I am a big fan of history. I find it fascinating. Most of my podcasts are history related, and this game is going to be like a history drip feed directly into my system. It's set in medieval Bohemia, the actual medieval Kingdom of Bohemia, which was an imperial state of the Holy Roman Empire. And a number of the characters we're going to see around us are real characters, the kings and the nobles and the heavy hitters, if you will, from the story. Now, we're just a blacksmith, but for me, I'm very excited to step into a world where it's 100% true events, but you're not anybody important. You're just watching history, almost like you're just watching history right from the 50-yard line. You're not a king, but you're right there in the middle of things. And the developers' obsession with getting the history right is fantastic. In our first interview with them in 2015, we heard all about how their initial trailers had the wrong chickens in the game, and they had fans helping them track down the correct types of chickens and what colors their feathers were going to be in this region during this time period. And it's that fantastic level of attention to detail that the history buff in me is so excited about. I love their catchphrase for the game, Dungeons and No Dragons. Even as a fan of more fantasy RPGs, it's just really cool to see this absolute obsession with the history. Alright guys, that'll do it. That's my top reasons why you should get excited for Kingdom Come Deliverance. Don't forget it comes out on February 13th. It is very, very close now, and you can definitely expect to see more content on it here on my channel. For now, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.